everybody has an account here that they work on, and most people have multiple accounts they work on, and they work on those accounts with a partner. And the art directors and the copywriters, they partner up. Then there's associate creative directors that actually partner up as well. Associate creative directors might be on the art side, they may be on the copy side, and they partner up. The way that it's set up as far as team, everybody here knows the accounts they work on, but they're not exclusive to that account. If it's busy, somebody else might work on that account, and vice versa. They may work on somebody else's account. So as far as the atmosphere, I'm kind of the manager of air, and that's what I do. A lot of people say, what do you do? I say, I manage air, and I try to manage the atmosphere in a way that allows for possibilities. So it's a fun atmosphere. I mean, there's days when it's difficult and it's very, very hard, but I always try to keep it loose, and I don't believe in heavy-handed management, so the atmosphere here it's pretty loose. People have a pretty good time. There's no real restrictions. There's no dress code specifically. Certain things you don't do, but for the most part, it's a pretty loose atmosphere so that people can be as creative as they can be.
I think we cram a lot of projects through here as well, and some of our projects are more exciting than others. Some of our clients are easier to work with than others. That's going to be the same everywhere. But generally, I think we try to be as collaborative as we can. Let me go back, I guess, to the way we're kind of structured here. In this department, we were set up a little bit more like a traditional ad agency, although we're in an in-house department. Whereas we have, we take in all our requests through a form that people have to submit, where they give us certain parameters. We assess those projects to make sure that they're ready to be projects, that they don't involve some other kind of intervention or meetings or whatever to clarify the request. They get assigned to an account manager. The account manager, prepares a creative brief for the team, and then we reconvene again when the job's ready to be brought into creative. And we don't do that until all the sort of parameters are set, all the strategy behind what we're trying to communicate, how we're trying to communicate it, how it's going to be distributed, what's the shelf life of the piece. There's a whole lot of factors that go into, what's the tone? Is it upbeat? Is it serious? Is it irreverent? Is it what's the tone? And then that will all kind of be spelled out in a creative brief, which we'll then take to a concept meeting. So it goes into creative. We'll convene a group. We'll get as many people involved at that point as possible. Not necessarily just the person who's going to be the principal designer on the project, but we'll try to get as many heads in the game at that point as possible. And then we'll concept, we'll look at approach, we'll think, we'll look at the creative brief, and we'll kind of pull out the key message points, or reinterpret some of the key message points, look at ways to execute those, decide if it's going to be photography driven or copy driven or design driven or illustration or whatever. Those kind of things we'll discuss, and then it'll go into production. We'll have we'll build production schedules for it. We'll prepare presentations for the client. We'll do the dog and pony show and get them clear on concept, and then we'll reconfirm a schedule with them. That gets us to the end result. With all the things that have to be coordinated: print buying, media buying, if it's ads, if it's whatever. So it's a big process. A lot of people don't give full credit to that process, and a lot of new designers will come in and they'll start. They'll think the process is much smaller or shorter than it is. But when you consider all those factors that go into it and all the people that are involved, then you get to understand how it moves from account services to creative to back to account services to the client. How the client feedback is interpreted, is another whole sort of creative process. We decide, okay, what things are we going to argue with? What things are we going to try to defend? Which things are we going to change based on their response? So that's a whole other part of the creative development. And eventually we get to something, and hopefully, you know, the integrity of the original intent is maintained, once again, by the time you get to the end of the process. And that's why, you know, what you see in big operations, it's really impressive to see some of the stuff that comes out as a creative result, because, you know, you understand the process that it had to go through to get to that point. You know, and that's why the teamwork thing's real important, because either everybody's working together for that goal or not working together for the goal. And the end product shows, you know, how well that collaboration works.
Our environment is, it's kind of a work hard, play hard environment. We have a lot of fun, you know, every day. It's a positive environment. You know, even with deadlines and stress that comes with those, you don't see it come to a head a whole lot. So it's really enjoyable. You know, we got things like, you know, pool tables and ping pong and darts and the whole 9 yards. But as far as the organization of the team, I think it's kind of a standard kind of agency, you know, workflow. You know, we've got the principals, which includes a creative director. You know, the creative team sits in an area that's, you know, kind of encourages collaboration. It's kind of an open studio space. We have account managers and account coordinators, which assist them, a production person, you know, office manager.